What's up, everyone? My name is Jason, and welcome to your $10,000 SBA grant and EIDL loan update. It is Hump Day. Happy Hump Day to you. September the 7th, 2022. Please do me a favor, give this video a thumbs up. One more time, hashtag EIDL with your comments below. And don't forget to join us over at trysmallbiz.com, where you can advertise your company today. That's trysmallbiz.com. And speaking of smallbiz.com, I'm going to share with you, it looks like at least a half a dozen premium members on our site that give us $1 a day. And by the way, the 800 number, it was supposed to be up today, but we had a problem with the local number, so we had to get it rerouted or repropagated. It's going to be happening tonight, tomorrow, so the next time I do a video, you're going to be able to call me. And I made a connection today with someone looking for an SBA 7A loan with Gary over at Approved Business Lending, who's not on this list, but has been with us since the very beginning. So as we open up the phone lines, and you guys can call me with respect to EIDL, the stock market, your business, how to set up your profile, whatever it is, I'm going to be just a phone call away for just $1. Oh, are you going to answer the phone for the free members? Yeah. And will I strongly encourage you to help support the cause? Absolutely. So in today's video, I am going to cover the current status of Ben Cardin's bill stuck in the Senate now for 2.5 months. Is it ever going to pass? And if so, how is it going to pass before the election? Are we about to get 3 or 4 months, maybe even 6, of EIDL loan deferment beyond the election? And what are our realistic chances sometime in the next year or two of getting the EIDL loan forgiven so that you pay the SBA not a friggin' dime? So ladies and gentlemen, pull up a chair, grab a cup of coffee, ice cold beer, glass of wine, whiskey on a big rock. Here we go. I'm still stuck on my cafe mocha, right? My sports research, collagen peptides, mixed in with a little organic heavy cream, and my Chevalier coffee at the moment. Oh my God, it's like heaven on earth. And it's only 50 calories plus whatever the cream is. It's amazing. Anybody miss me? What has it been? What do you got? 4 or 5 days since I've done a video here, right? I did a poll, by the way. Thank you very much for those who've responded. I said, what do you want me talking about? It's been 2 years of EIDL, and while we will continue to carry the torch until everybody gets the grant, the loans are postponed and or forgiven, we got to be honest with ourselves. We can't go another 2+ years talking about just one thing. So I asked you, you want me talking about business, news, the stock market, or other? And what's fascinating to me before I quickly get into the grant to start off with is that almost nobody on YouTube is interested in the stock market. 20%. On Twitter, it's 69%. 69%. Family show. I hear you, Ma. She passed away. She doesn't like any reference of the sort. She passed away of a stroke in 2015. By the way, Ma, I'm taking care of myself. I don't want to end up like you and Dad, passing away at 65 and 69 respectively. But the good news is my dad's real father, to my knowledge, is still alive at 100 years old in New York City. And my grandparents on my mother's side, who died at 65, both lived to be very healthy, 92 years of age. So I'm hoping it skips a generation. But that's why I might look a little leaner and a little meaner, is because I've got 30+ years to help you guys make an absolute fortune, both in the stock market as well as at trysmallbiz.com. But Twitter, if you're interested in the market, both from an investing, which I'm going to talk a lot more about, or trading, follow me at trysmallbiz. All right, ladies and gentlemen, more on that later. I will pin in the top, along with a half a dozen premium members that I am going to mention again today in the top comment, Ben Cardin's hard-hit Small Business Relief Act. Up until now, we need 60 votes to pass a bill like this. However, and you heard this here first, however, we still have restaurants, 177,000 or thereabouts, that did not get their RRF. This bill is $6 billion, which could mean 600,000 people get the $10,000, and I've asked them to make sure it's middle income, and Ms. Guzman has major discretion in this bill that you were promised but did not get in the CARES Act. I am hearing there could be a small reconciliation bill right before the election. What is that? It's a bribe. 30 to no more than $50 billion to bribe the restaurants and the small businesses that didn't get the EIDL grants and the RRF, respectively, that they were promised over a year ago. Is it a guarantee? No. But is it out of the question now that they've forgiven, what is it, $900 billion in the end in terms of student loans and God knows what else they've got in the works? It would not be out of the question to pass a small stimulus bill, and what they'll term it as is all we're doing is giving people what we promised them a year to 18 months ago. And they can do that through reconciliation, not requiring 60 votes. And because it could be small, under $50 billion, again, Ben Cardin's bill for the grant is only $6 billion. We only need estimates of $35 to $40 billion for the restaurants. So they could do something in and around $50 billion or less and say, hey, it's not going to jack up inflation that much, and we're just doing what we should have done a year to 18 months ago. So these are my fingers crossed that we can get at least 600,000 people that were not in the purple zone, aka low-income community. And yes, somewhere around 177,000 restaurants or thereabouts, the Restaurant Revitalization Fund money they were promised well over a year ago. If it goes to reconciliation, Vice President Harris breaks the tie, and that's how the Inflation Reduction Act passed. So more on that later. All right. I will say that the EIDL deferment odds are 50-50. President Biden, 2 weeks ago, just gave 4 more months to student relief, getting beyond the election. And as I've said to you guys and them countless times over the last 6 months, a lot goes on behind the scenes. You guys see me tweet all day long and scream 4 or 5 times a week in front of the camera. What you don't see is hundreds, maybe even thousands at this point, of emails and phone calls and tweets and tags and bending of arms without going too far, of course. And I've said repeatedly how stupid it is to have small business owners in such a tight election year go into the polls pissed off that they've got to make an EIDL loan payment starting in October or November, like myself. It's a stupid move. So flip a coin. They're well aware of it, especially Ben Cardin, who's the Senate chairman of the Senate Committee for Small Business. I will not be shocked if in the next month or so, before the payments are due, they give us reprieve. Whether it's 3 months or 6 months, I don't know. I've asked for at least 6 months. Be nice if they gave us another 30, but I honestly don't think that's happened. Which brings us to loan forgiveness. Most of you are, of course, interested in that because 4 million people got almost $400 billion of EIDL loan money over the course of the last, and by the way, stick around if you're in reconsideration. I'm not going to forget about you and the lawsuit. But $400 billion went out the door to 4 million or 3.96, I believe, million people that got an EIDL loan. And almost all of you that are watching me that got one, including moi over a year ago with the 24 months of capital, we don't want to have to pay that back. We want it treated like PPP. Now, I'm telling you right now, it is going to be based on, if it happens at all, economic loss. If you weren't 30 to 50% at least cut in half in 2019-20 as a result of the pandemic, you're not getting your EIDL loan forgiven. And about 10 to 20% of you are absolutely killing it right now. A few of you, thank you very much, our premium members, just $1 a day, as I'll read out loud here in a second, at least a half a dozen of them, maybe some more. Senior moment, back it up, half a dozen EIDL loan deferment. No, we're beyond that. See, we don't edit around here, and I'm 52 years old. Although I look like I'm in much better shape, I occasionally forget where I'm going. So we're on EIDL loan forgiveness, on our way to reconsideration and the lawsuit before I'm over. So I think the odds, how's that for a transition? I think the odds of EIDL loan forgiveness, 25% tops. And it's going to take us a year to 18 months to get it done. They're going to make us feel the pain, ladies and gentlemen. I know you don't want to hear that, but there's absolutely no appetite to forgive the loans right now. The SBA has over $1 trillion on the balance sheet, and they can't wait to start collecting not only the interest, which is outrageous, but the payments starting in October. So I put the odds of deferment at 50%, the odds of forgiveness a year to 18 months from now, right before the 2024 election at 25%. But I can say this much, and I will throw in, although he never mentions my name, Ryder over at Skip, who obviously does not want to sue the SBA. I asked you, Ryder, hey, give me a call. Crickets. He's got a much friendlier relationship with the SBA. Yeah, I just threw him under the bus. Kinda, but he never mentions me. But he does not want to sue the SBA. Some of you do. Not as many as you might think, by the way. So, 25% on the deferment. Now to the folks stuck in reconsideration. I hate to tell you this, as of Wednesday, September the 7th, there's absolutely nothing we can do. There are 120 members of the House and Senate, I've said this many times, that have sent scathing letters from late June to the middle of August to the SBA. Half of the Senate, led by Joe Manchin and many others. And for whatever reason, she is still sitting on $7 billion of idle money relating to subsidies that the government gave her well over a year ago. And Joe Manchin's letter, and hell, I'll put that in the comments as well, pointed that out. He said to her, look, don't be telling us that somebody's unworkable. Finish the job. Big Ben Cardin said unworkable, quote, is not denied. But for whatever reason, somebody, and we know it's not Weekend at Bernie's, somebody is telling her to stand down in an election year. And frankly, I don't understand why it is. And so do 120 members of Congress, 97 of which, by the way, are Democrats. She's a registered Democrat in California. And for whatever reason, she's ignoring Joe Manchin, Ben Cardin, who outrank her by a country mile. She's ignoring their demands. Something tells me, however, they're going to give you one more chance. But if they do, they're going to require you jump through a shitload of hoops. You're going to have a certain minimum credit score, driver's license ID, voided check, and that 4506T or an approved copy of an amended return, which has been a problem in the past. But again, it's an election year, so for the love of God, one more time, Miss Guzman, what are you thinking? Your own party is telling you to finish the job. We have lawsuits, which I'm about to transition to. See, I'm well aware of what I'm doing at the moment. And we got more of them in Nevada, in Texas, in Florida. Which brings me, before I let you go and read out loud, half a dozen. So don't leave. This could be you someday. Don't leave. God has a sense of humor. AVCT, what the hell happened there? We made 75%. Are you paying attention, YouTube, like Twitter is? We made 75% trading that 4 times in the last week. Then I go into the cookie jar one more time today. Slap right across the face. Where is it? 0.178. We're getting clocked. What is that? I'm down 13%. But if you take plus 75 minus 13, we've still made north of 50%, let's call it, in the last week and a half with AVCT. Follow me on Twitter at TrySmallBiz if you want to make some money in the stock market. But there's a lawsuit in California. Glazer and Glazer.com. Glazer and Glazer.com. Larry and Nicolette. And as I said in my last video, which, by the way, got the most thumbs down ever. I've done 438 videos after today, the most ever. And it wasn't the rant in the beginning. It was the lawsuit in the end. The graphic shows, as soon as I get to the part in the video about the lawsuit, it was straight down off a cliff. That's where we got 2/3 of the thumbs down was in the second half of the video. So I can promise you guys, and I think it's because, plug your ears, Ma, most people, especially the fellas, the snowflakes, the beta males, they don't want to stick their nuts in the guillotine. The idea of standing in front of a judge, now that there's 2 anti-fraud PPP and EIDL laws which have passed, the idea of putting their tax returns and their nuts on the line, risking being perjured, fined, and maybe even going to jail, like some have in the last month, suddenly they're not so interested in suing. However, a couple dozen people, and you would think it would be more, right? Maybe it's up to 3 dozen by now, have filled out the questionnaire. So if you want to be part of one of several lawsuits that will manifest in the next month, watch the last video. Pinned in the top is the questionnaire. You'll reach out to Larry and Nicolette, and you can tell them that I sent you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, $1 a day. I hope you made it this far, because someday it's going to be you. By the way, The phone, I won't show you the phone right now, but we're going to have calls tomorrow. We're going to open up the phone lines. I'm going to be, what was his name? Larry King. Phoenix, hello. Right? Phoenix, hello. Charlotte, hello. Miami, hello. Do you guys realize that as I get to know you and become more intimately knowledgeable about what you do, I'm going to be one of the largest, most powerful small biz matchmakers in the entire world. I'll be able to say when you call me up, hey, I need a 7A loan like someone did this afternoon, and I sent them over to Gary at Approved Business Lending. Boom, there's a connection. Are you having a wedding or a graduation anywhere in the state of Pennsylvania? If so, talk to Robbie D. And again, he's going to be in the comment. Robbie D-E-E. Or DJ Bot. My God, the guy's been here. Former, I believe it's Navy Corpsman. We appreciate your service, my brother. He's in Connecticut. So Bot's in Connecticut and Robbie D's in Pennsylvania. Christine Storms, she's a realtor in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania's on the list today. She'll be in the top comment. Sweetheart of a lady. Reach out to her, of course. Tammy Murphy. Have I said enough about this woman? I should probably do a whole fucking show about her. She's in California, but she has helped people all over the country. You've seen at least 2, maybe 3 5-star reviews where she got people referred. I believe it was in Texas and or North Carolina. It doesn't even matter if you live in California, as she does. If you need help selling or buying a house, reach out to Christine Storms in Pennsylvania, Tammy Murphy in California. How about a tiny home? You got any interest in living in a tiny home? Tiny Homes Montana. Tremendous guy. Again, been here since the very beginning. If you're thinking about, as I was a while ago, of buying 5 or 10 acres out in the middle of nowhere, and you want to put a tiny home on it, you reach out to, once again, pinned in the top comment, Tiny Homes Montana. And last but certainly not least, another shout out to my buddy Ryan, who follows me religiously over on Twitter and has profited tremendously on my stock picks. He owns Family Car Service in South Florida. So if you need a limo or a party bus, you're having a big old time or a shindig anywhere from, let's say, West Palm to Miami, you reach out to Ryan at Family Car Service, and you guessed it, you tell him that Jason sent you. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, always remember that I love each and every one of you, and thank you so much for watching.